Alright, let's start fresh with a new romantic story, weaving it in long, emotional paragraphs for depth and flow. It began on an ordinary day, one that neither of them expected would alter the course of their lives forever. She was sitting by the window of a quiet cafe, her fingers wrapped around a warm cup of coffee, lost in the pages of a book she had carried with her for weeks. He entered almost absent-mindedly, brushing raindrops from his shoulders, his thoughts crowded with the usual noise of life. And yet, the moment his eyes caught hers, something within him stilled as though the world had paused, leaving only the two of them suspended in a silence that felt strangely intimate. He didn't know her, not even her name, but the spark of recognition was undeniable, as if destiny had nudged them both toward this moment. She noticed him too, though at first she tried to return to her book, pretending not to care. But her heart betrayed her composure, skipping a beat every time his gaze flickered in her direction. There was something in the way he carried himself, calm yet searching, strong yet tender, that drew her in. She didn't believe in love at first sight, but in that instant, she felt something awaken inside her, something that words had never been able to capture. And when fate arranged for him to sit at the table next to hers, both of them silently acknowledged that this was not coincidence, but the beginning of a story neither had dared to dream of. Their first conversation was hesitant, almost shy, but it flowed more naturally than either of them expected. He spoke of small things at first: the weather, the taste of the coffee, the rain outside, but with each passing word, their voices grew steadier, their laughter came easier, and the invisible wall between strangers began to dissolve. She told him about her love for books, and how she believed stories could heal broken hearts, and he listened as though every syllable was a treasure he had been searching for. He, in turn, shared his dreams, his fears, the pieces of himself he rarely revealed to anyone, and she met his honesty with a warmth that made him feel seen in ways he never had before. Days turned into weeks, and the cafe became their haven. What began as chance meetings slowly grew into intentional encounters, promises to meet again, to share new stories, to sit together, as though the rest of the world could wait. They discovered that love was not always loud or dramatic, but often soft, patient, and quietly powerful. It revealed itself in the way she saved him a seat by the window, in the way he remembered her favorite drink without asking, in the way their silences carried no discomfort, but only peace. And yet, as their bond deepened, so too did the unspoken truth between them. They were falling in love, not in the hurried, reckless way of fleeting passion, but in the steady, enduring rhythm of two souls who had finally found their missing house. Every moment felt like a page in a story they were writing together, one that neither of them wanted to end. The weeks stretched into months, and soon their meetings at the cafe were no longer something they stumbled upon by chance, but something they both looked forward to with a quiet eagerness that neither of them could hide. She would arrive early, sometimes carrying a new book to share with him, sometimes simply waiting with her eyes drifting toward the door, knowing he would come. And when he finally appeared, her entire face would light up in a way that made his heart swell, as though she had been waiting only for him. He in turn began to notice how his days felt incomplete without her presence, how the hours before seeing her seemed heavier, slower, almost lifeless. She had become the bright thread woven into the fabric of his ordinary life, transforming it into something extraordinary without even trying. Their conversations had grown deeper, more intimate. No longer limited to surface-level curiosities, they spoke about their fierce loneliness they sometimes felt, the disappointments of dreams that never came true, the unspoken scars left behind by the past. She admitted how she had always been afraid of giving too much of herself to someone who might not stay, while he confessed how he often felt invisible in a world that demanded strength, but rarely asked about his heart. In each of these vulnerable admissions, they found comfort rather than judgment, connection rather than distance. The more they revealed, the stronger the invisible thread between them grew, binding them in ways neither could deny. And yet, despite everything, neither of them had spoken the truth that lingered so close to the surface, that they were falling hopelessly, irreversibly in love.